Assalamu alaikum class. I am Miss Aisha Abid from Army Public School and College Hanewal. Today I welcome you all in our biology lesson for class 9th. It is a project of APSEC's online support program. Today we are going to start our new lesson. The topic of our lesson today is Introduction of Enzymes. We will be studying types of enzymes and also activation energy. Objective: at the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand the concept of enzymes, types of enzymes, and very interesting and important topic of activation energy. Success criteria: concepts must be clear about enzymes, its types, and activation energy. Today is day 1 of week 1. So let's start our topic, enzyme. You can find this topic on your textbook page number 107 to 108. Before starting the concept of enzymes, we have to get some know-how about the term metabolism. What is metabolism and how enzymes are involved in metabolism of any living organism. The word metabolism is derived from a Greek word which means change. Ibn Nafis, he was the person who gave the concept of metabolism. Now coming towards what is metabolism, it is a set of biochemical reactions that occur in living organism in order to maintain life. You can see here in the word biochemical reaction, you can define a biochemical reaction in a way that the word bio here means life, chemical reactions, all the chemical reactions that are carrying out in living organisms. For what purpose they are keep on processing in living organism is to maintain the life. And these processes of metabolism, they help every living organism to grow and reproduce. Like you grow from a child to an adult, likewise any organism who is going to reproduce has a particular set of metabolism going on in his body. We will study about that terms further in your syllabus. There are two main types of metabolism. It is either catabolism and anabolism. So starting with anabolism. Anabolism is a type of biochemical reactions, obviously type of metabolism, in which larger molecules are synthesized. And from which molecules they are synthesized? From smaller molecules. As you know, smaller molecules, they join together to make a big molecule or a large molecule, and the process by which these smaller molecules join together and give a large molecule is called anabolism. In other words, anabolism is a process of formation. Alright, and another main point here is anabolism requires energy. So you can see here these small molecules, they bind together, join together with the help of these bonds. You can see here these black lines, they are actually the bonds, chemical bonds. This energy which is utilized, it helps these molecules to join together to form bonds. Hence anabolism is a forming process in which larger molecules are synthesized. Synthesize, it means to make, to form. And another important point is anabolism requires energy. Small molecules require energy to join together, form a bond, and give a large molecule as a product. I hope you keep that in mind. Further, what is catabolism? Catabolism, it is a type of chemical reactions in which larger molecules, they are broken down. You can see the difference. In anabolism, we study the formation or synthesis of compounds. In catabolism, that large molecule, it breaks down. All the bonds that are formed between these white and red molecules, they break down, and as a result, all these small molecules or beads, they separate from each other because no molecules are there bounded to each other. And you see here energy is released in catabolism because that energy is utilized to make bonds. When these bonds break, obviously this energy is released. So keep in mind that in catabolism, always and always there is breakdown of molecules, either large or small. And another main point of energy is always released in catabolism. Comparison: if we compare these both, cell metabolism, as metabolism where it is taking place, obviously it is taking place in a cell. In catabolism, what is happening, large molecule is through catabolism is breaking down into smaller molecules and energy is released, and these smaller molecules, it joins, and it carries that energy and make larger molecules by the process of anabolism. This is how catabolism and anabolism taking place in our body. Now finally, that was a brief introduction about catabolism and anabolism. Now we are going to study enzymes and what is the role of enzyme in catabolism and anabolism. Enzymes, what are enzymes? These are proteins that catalyze, which means speed up. Enzymes, they speed up a biochemical reaction. Biochemical reaction, it means that those reactions, those chemical reactions which are taking place in living organisms, biochemical reactions. And another property of enzymes is that they are not changed during a chemical reaction. We will study about it further. Some main components of enzyme in the reaction are: this is enzyme, this is the active site where the substrate act, this is the substrate. Now these are some important terms you have to know before starting this topic of enzymes. Substrates and products, molecules at which enzyme act. These molecules are called substrates, and enzymes convert them, or enzyme convert these substrate into different molecules. These are called products. You can see here, this is globular structure of enzymes. Substrate it comes in after a chemical reaction. This substrate, it's breaking down into two parts. Now kids, you tell me which type of cell metabolism reaction occurs there. Obviously, a large molecule, it is breaking down into two smaller molecules. It is either catabolism or anabolism. Keep pondering, keep thinking. Yes, you guessed correctly. It is catabolism, in which molecules are breaking down. Like see here, big molecule is breaking down into small molecules with the release of energy. Which process? Catabolism. So what is the role of enzyme here? Enzyme here, this is, you can, now you have to tell me, this is substrate and it is breaking down into products. This is the product, energy is also a product. So where do enzyme fit in this chemical reaction? यहाँ हमें enzyme का काम किस step पे नजर आएगा? Obviously in this step. Enzyme come here and enzyme will speed up the reaction in which more and more number of large molecules can be broken down. They speed up, and this molecule is called substrate. Here the enzyme, here the substrate comes, and it will be broken down into two pieces, making it a product. Now another important term, which is called activation energy. What is it? Activation energy is basically a minimum amount of energy which is required to start a chemical reaction. What is the chemical reaction? You already know that, in which one compound is converting into another compound, or substrate is converted into product. It acts as a barrier in order to start a chemical reaction. Let's start. Before we start the concept of activation energy, we have to go through a simple example of our daily life. For example, when you have to jump from a cliff, or from 2 to 3 stairs, for example, this is a common hobby for children, that they like this activity to jump from 2 to 3 stairs. You have to get enough energy to jump out from that stairs number 3. जब आपको किसी सीढ़ी पे से छलांग लगानी होती है, तो you have to gather the energy so that you can jump at once. So you are gathering that energy. That energy is activation energy. And before you start jumping, you gathered all the energy and then you jumped in. So that was example of activation energy. Now start it, think it a bit scientifically. In this reaction, we have this reactant. You can see it here in orange color circle or ball. You have that ball, it has to attain that activation energy and climb up the cliff, here, moving up, and at that point it has stored maximum energy so that it can roll and reach to the bottom. So any chemical reaction, before substrate is converted into product, it has to reach that activation energy. It has to climb up slowly and steadily. But what happens if we use an enzyme with that substrate? We attach that substrate to an enzyme. What happens next is that that clef becomes very small, so that chemical reaction spend less and less time climbing up the cliff or attaining the activation energy, and then start up the reaction. Like you can see here, when this reactant is combined with enzyme, the activation energy slope, you see here, this is this long, and with enzyme it is only this long. It means that chemical reaction will start in very short time, or it's simply catalyzed or speed up, and in a very small interval of time that reactant is converted into product. If we go back to anabolism and catabolism, in which we study that a big catabolism, in which a big compound is breaking down into smaller products. So if we add enzyme to this reaction, the reaction will take place very quickly. There are two main types of enzymes, two main categories, and that categories are on the basis of their active site at which they work. They are either intracellular enzymes or extracellular enzymes. Enzymes which work inside the cell is called intracellular enzymes, because intra, the word means inside. For example, enzymes of glycolysis work in cytoplasm. You will study the process of glycolysis in your further course. For now, you have to understand the concept that glyco, it means glucose, lysis, it means breakdown. The process in which glucose is breaking down is called glycolysis, and this process is taking place in every cell of every living organism. So the enzymes are produced inside the cell, glycolysis is happening inside the cell. So these enzymes which are used in glycolysis are called as intracellular enzymes. What are extracellular enzymes? Extra means obviously outside. All those enzymes that work outside a cell, it means that they are produced in a cell, they have to travel outside that cell and reach to a certain destination. For example, pepsin in an enzyme works only in stomach cavity. Stomach, as you know, our organ, it digests our food. There is an enzyme called pepsin or pepsinogen. It is synthesized in the stomach walls cells, and these glandular cells, they are producing pepsinogen. When this pepsinogen come out of the stomach cell, and it converts into pepsin, and it helps in the digestion or breakdown of the food that we eat. So that was all for today's lesson. Let's have a quick recap that we have studied the types of metabolism. Metabolisms are set of chemical reactions that occur in living organism. Catabolism is a process of synthesis and it requires energy. Anabolism is a process of breakdown of molecules and it releases energy. Whenever a molecule breaks down, it releases energy. For example, जब आपके घर में कोई glass टूटता है, तो that big molecule of glass is now in smaller patches, smaller pieces, and obviously some sound is also produced, जिसकी वजह से हमें पता लगता है कि घर में किस जगह गिलास टूटा है. So we have already compared these both terms. What are enzymes? Enzymes are globular proteins. They speed up a chemical reaction. Alright, and substrates are some molecules on which enzyme act and convert these substrate into product. We use activation energy as the minimum amount of energy required to start up a chemical reaction. Intracellular and extracellular enzymes that work inside of cell are called intracellular enzymes, and all those enzymes which work outside the cells are extracellular enzymes. So that was all for today. I hope you understand the lesson very clearly. So learn it very well. Allah Hafiz.